Hey, future Filipinos CPAs. I know you're deep in your review for the ELPA, and some topics can feel like a total headache. Well, today, we're going to crack one of them wide open. We're talking past 36 and those weird, indefinite-life intangible assets. You know, the ones that seem to live forever? Let's make sure you absolutely nail this on your board exam.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to question the whole idea of assets having an expiry date. Then, we'll get into the one golden rule you need to know. After that, we'll walk through the actual impairment test, and then, my favorite part, the big twist about reversals that examiners love. And we'll wrap it all up with a quick brain hack so this stuff really sticks. Ready? Let's do this.
Okay, first things first. To really get a grip on this, we need to go back and challenge a basic idea you probably learned on, day one of your accounting studies.
I mean, think about it, right? We depreciate buildings over, say, 20 years. We amortize patents over their legal life. It feels like everything has a predictable end. But what about the assets that don't? What about things that could, in theory, just keep generating value forever? What do we even do with those?
So this is where the road splits. PAS 38 basically draws a line in the sand. On one side, you have assets with a finite life. These have a clear, predictable limit, so the rule is simple. You amortize them. But on the other side, you've got these indefinite life assets. Think of a powerhouse brand here in the Philippines like Jollibee. Is there a foreseeable end to its ability to make money? Not really. And for these superstars, the rule is totally different and absolutely crucial. You do not amortize them, period.
Okay, so if we aren't writing these assets down slowly over time through amortization, what's to stop their value from being totally overstated on the books? Great question. And the answer is what I call the golden rule.
Let's just nail down this definition. The key phrase from the standard is no foreseeable limit. Now, this is super important. It doesn't mean infinite. It doesn't mean forever and ever. It just means that based on all the facts we have right now, we just can't predict when its value will stop. We can't put a date on it.
And here it is. This is the 1-2 punch you have got to remember for the LSCPA. No amortization. Instead, you have to do an annual impairment test. Think of it like this. Amortization is like a slow, predictable leak from a tire. An impairment test is a mandatory, once-a-year checkup to see if the tire suddenly went completely flat. So, how does this checkup actually work? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. This is the practical, step-by-step guide you'll use when you see an impairment problem on your exam.
To play the game, you gotta know the players. First, there's the carrying amount, or CA. That's just the value of the asset sitting on your balance sheet right now. Simple. Then there's the recoverable amount, or RA. This one's the higher of what you could sell it for or the value you'd get by continuing to use it. Essentially, you're comparing the book value to the real-world value.
And the math? It couldn't be easier. You only have an impairment loss if the carrying amount is bigger than the recoverable amount. If the value on your books is higher than what you can actually get back from it, that difference is your loss. You have to write it down. It's not optional.
So this is your mental checklist for any exam problem. Step 1, compare. Put the CA right next to the RA. Step 2, recognize the loss. But remember, only if the CA is the bigger number. That's the whole process. Follow those 2 steps and you'll be golden.
So when exactly do you do this test? The absolute minimum is annually. It's mandatory, non-negotiable, but, and this is a big but, if something bad happens during the year, say a new competitor just destroys your market share, you don't wait. You test for impairment right away, whenever there's a red flag.
Okay, this next part is huge, so listen up. Recognizing a loss is one thing, but what if things turn around? What if the asset's value recovers? Can you take back that loss? This is a classic LECPA trap question.
And the answer is yes. You heard that right. PAS 36 actually allows you to reverse an impairment loss. If the economic conditions that caused the problem get better and the asset's recoverable amount bounces back, you can reverse the loss you recorded. Pretty cool, huh? But you knew there had to be a catch, right? And this is the big one. This is the little detail that separates the passers from the top-notchers. There is one major exception to this reversal rule. You need to burn this slide into your memory. For a regular intangible asset like a brand name, can you reverse the loss? Yes, you can, up to a certain limit. But for goodwill? Absolutely not. No way, no how. An impairment loss on goodwill is a one-way street. Once you write it down, it stays down forever. This is a favorite question for examiners because the rule is so absolute.
Okay, time to pull everything together. This is your LECPA brain hack section. Seriously, get your phone out, take a screenshot of these next 2 slides. This is your ultimate cheat sheet to help you remember all this for the long haul. Let's run through it rapid fire. Indefinite life assets. The key phrase is no foreseeable limit. What's the rule? You never amortize them. Instead, you must test for impairment annually, or more often if you see a red flag. And how do you calculate the loss? Easy. It's when the carrying amount is greater than the recoverable amount. 5 key rules. Got it?
And now for the reversal rules. Can you reverse a loss? Yes, for most assets. Where does the gain go? To profit or loss. Is there a limit? Of course. But what's the big, giant, flashing red light exception? Say it with me. An impairment loss on goodwill can never be reversed. Never, ever. That one rule is worth its weight in gold on exam day.
And let's close with this quote from the standard. It really gets to the heart of the matter. It's saying that calling something indefinite doesn't mean you can just book it and forget it. It actually means you have to actively maintain it, and that's precisely why that annual impairment checkup is so important. So let me leave you with a final thought. Why does any of this stuff matter beyond passing your boards? Well, because this isn't just about rules. This is about how we place a value on a company's most important assets, its reputation, its brand. The story you tell investors with a slow, steady amortization expense is completely different from the story of a sudden, huge impairment loss. It goes to the very heart of a company's value. Keep that big picture in mind. You've totally got this, future CPAs.